What's going on, everybody? Ramdean and Black with you here in our downtown studios this Sunday night. Mark it on your calendar. It is the return of the prodigy BJ Penn as he takes on Yair Rodriguez, the undercard live right here on FN. And I'll tell you, my hands are sweaty thinking about BJ Penn's return. But when you look at the landscape of mixed martial arts right now, you see Cody Garbrandt, who we called a prospect, defeat Dominic Cruz, now the champion. Guys like Do Ho Choi. There's so many prospects in mixed martial arts that you have to say they're no longer prospects.
That's right.
These are athletes that can achieve greatness and they can compete on any level and they can become champions. Is that a good thing for these old guards that have taken so much abuse? The amount of punishment that BJ Penn has taken against George St. Pierre and against Matt Hughes and against John Fitch, and the laundry list of top flight competition he's been paired with through his time. Yair Rodriguez, he doesn't know what it's like to be punished inside of the cage. He can be free to go in there and go after BJ Penn. Does he have too many miles?
We'll find out, man. Yair Rodriguez wants to be one of those short list of guys you just described. Cody Garbrandt, UFC champion. Do Ho Choi, right there, coming up. You know, these young fighters. I mean, Joanna Jędrzejczyk is still a very young fighter. There's a whole new realm of these guys. Yair Rodriguez gets a chance to prove he's that against a veteran like BJ Penn. But we shall see, man. You know, this new thing is different, but BJ's still young. He's in his mid-30s. You know what I mean? Yes, he's fought the best. Yes, if you look at some fights like the GSP fights and others where, you know, his body took a lot, but he's Fitch, you know, the round 3 of John Fitch, but he's had time off and he's still capable of learning on a high level. So what if we have all of the great things that come with veterans, like you see a Dan Henderson capable of doing these little things in space that other younger men don't understand, and they get the new ideas. Greg Jackson is absolutely the right coach for BJ Penn. Absolutely the right coach to reignite BJ's thought processes in ways that he's excited about new approaches. You know, his game trees that he puts together of this move leads to this one, leads to this one, leads to these options. All of those things can excite a guy like BJ Penn. I'm really pumped to see this fight. You know, BJ's one of the great fighters ever, and if you don't know that or you don't believe that, go back and watch his fights and watch how influential he was.
What about the wild style of Yair Rodriguez? We've heard fighters in the past talk about that it's difficult to face these guys that kind of, you know, don't follow the rules or the playbook. They're constantly either in that brawl mentality or there's constant spinning attacks. So for a fighter that has a technical background like BJ Penn, is that easy for him to read?
I think it's easier. You know, when we get into areas where we're talking about perception of time. And that's a tough thing to discuss because sometimes people are like, well, what are you talking about? But I think baseball is the easiest thing to use as a comparison. We all understand that if the pitch came, we can't even see it. It happens so quickly, we're not capable of reading it, making a decision in our mind and swinging a baseball bat. But after you do it for 10, 15 years, these guys literally see the baseball move slower than the way we do. BJ Penn sees punches and kicks coming slower than the other people that Yair Rodriguez has fought. So the chaos itself is a little less chaotic against the veteran guys. Dan Henderson is not impressed if you come out spinning and doing all these things. He's like, great, I'm going to come in, inside low kick and overhand right you. BJ Penn will be very much the same things. It is a disadvantage. It's always an advantage to be unexpected. It's always an advantage to be different, but it's less of an advantage against the veterans.
I think one of the reasons why I love this return of BJ Penn is because he's had the rug pulled under his feet a number of times. This is the third time I think he was supposed to make his return to the Ultimate Fighting Championship, which says to me he could have said, you know what, I've gone through a couple of training camps. It's clearly not meant to be. I'm rich. I'm going back to the paradise that is Hawaii to hang out with my family. Instead, he stuck with it, decided to leave his comfort zone of Hilo, go to Albuquerque to learn some new tools, learn some new tricks. Donald Cerrone was raving about BJ Penn. Do you expect to see the same BJ Penn, or do you expect to see a new version with new tools and a new approach to the game?
You know, Donald Cerrone giving him those compliments carries weight for sure. But if you look at the way Cerrone's been fighting, we use the term free often. We go out there and just be. And that's how Donald's been fighting. And if BJ's fighting like that, BJ will have this kid's number. If BJ is tense or BJ feels the weight of the consequences, the weight of the outcome, it'll be a tricky game. Greg Jackson has trained with Yair Rodriguez, and that helps a great deal as well. If BJ's on, we're all going to be shocked. You know, you've heard a great saying that getting older is mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. That's where BJ will be at. But if he is not BJ, if he gets out there and suddenly goes, well, what am I doing here? Jeez, I should be barbecuing. I should be up in Canada having tacos with Ramdean and Robin Black. I shouldn't be in this. Then he's dead. But I don't think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see a wonderful fight, and I think it's going to be, no matter how he does, win or lose, we're going to see a great BJ against a great young prospect who is going to have a huge future.
BJ Penn talking about a lot of these athletes out there looking for super fights and the biggest fights humanly possible. He believes that if you are a fighter, you go and fight. Don't worry about who your opponent is. Sign the bout agreement, and whoever's standing across the cage, you go and do battle. But in a fight like this with Rodriguez, it feels like BJ Penn has the advantage, except for youth, that he's been in there with the better competition. He's been coached by better people. He has better skills. The guy, the Mendez brothers, who are two of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the world, said that if BJ Penn put a gi on right now, he could be a world champion. So when you look at this fight from that standpoint, it looks like the stack is decked. The deck is stacked against Yair Rodriguez.
If you ask 90% of the people out there who've been watching Yair Rodriguez and just think of BJ as some old guy that used to be around when guys like you and I were watching fighting, they are like, what the hell is Ram Dork talking about? Like, that doesn't make, but you're right. If you look objectively, BJ Penn should have every advantage in this fight except for youth. But we'll find out. You have to go out there and you have to do it. The times change. The median level of what an upper middle, top 20, top 25 guy is has gone up so high that if BJ hasn't been progressing with it, he'll have, Yair will be too much for him. But if BJ shows up as BJ Penn, glove-licking BJ Penn, he's going to win this fight. I can't wait to see it, man. But as far as BJ talking about all these super fights and everybody wants 2 belts and everyone wants to go up, I mean, it's not just what BJ is thinking. It's that it's starting to get repetitive. You know, you're not going to cut through the noise. Conor McGregor did that, and he dressed this way, and he talked this way, and he did other fights. And then because it was first, it was really fascinating and interesting. If you're the 27th guy talking about big money fights and saying, oh, that guy doesn't sell pay-per-views, usually it's guys who have never sold a pay-per-view. Tyron Woodley complaining that Stephen Thompson had sold. I don't know how many pay-per-views Tyron Woodley sells. Besides, isn't he a fighter, not a pay-per-view salesman? And Cody, man, Cody blew our minds, and I can't wait to see him fight TJ Dillashaw, who he of course should be fighting. And who was he saying? TJ doesn't sell pay-per-views? How many pay-per-views has Cody Garbrandt sold? Fight him, man. This is a great fight for you, and we're going to enjoy seeing it.
Money is the talk of the day, though. Back when you're talking about us watching BJ Penn grow up in mixed martial arts, I don't think many of those athletes believe that, hey, you know what? The key to the riches is to get myself involved in mixed martial arts. These were fighters that just wanted to test out the truths of combat. Now there's an opportunity for a lot of these fighters to make a lot of money. And BJ Penn, you've got to be, again, we all know that I'm a huge BJ Penn fan, but all these athletes are trying to make the most money they possibly can, just like you did, BJ Penn, when you decided to vacate your title and go to K1 to make more money. At the end of the day, this is what these fighters are doing. And BJ Penn, you got to feel for them. Come on, these guys, it's the new era, and you and your family are doing just fine.
Are you daring to call BJ a hypocrite? Because he'll come up here. I get what you're saying. And money-wise, hey, listen, we got Chase over here at Camera 3. If Chase did the exact same job behind there, exactly the same thing he's doing right now, but got way more money, would he want it? Of course. Would you? Of course. Would everybody at home? Of course. And I get that. I can fight this guy for my regular pay or this guy for tons of money. Makes sense to me.
BJ Penn makes his highly anticipated return this Sunday night in Phoenix, Arizona.